Considerable pleasure to present the original Universal production of Frankenstein. The film is based on an 1816 novel by 19-year-old Mary Shelley, who became the wife of the poet Shelley, who incidentally was a distant ancestor of mine. She elaborated on a story she improvised during a house party in Switzerland where everyone was telling ghost tales. After his success in Dracula, Bela Lugosi was offered the role of the creature, but didn't like the idea of obscuring his fine features with so much makeup. So Universal turned to an almost unknown actor named William Henry Pratt. His screen name, Boris Karloff. Now let's see how a bit of movie history was made as the Sci-Fi Channel presents the classic Frankenstein.
They haunt the darkness of our minds. Classic monsters month, all this month.
Alone, bad,
For every man,
friend, good.
there's a woman.
Together, we will create his mate.
The Bride of Frankenstein.
Boris Karloff
She hates me.
and Elsa Lancaster are made for each other in Bride of Frankenstein, part of Classic Monsters Month, only on the Sci-Fi Channel. Tomorrow at 9, 6 Pacific.
Boris Karloff and the Frankenstein creature were literally made for each other, thanks to Universal's premier makeup artist, Jack Pierce. He exaggerated every aspect of Karloff's facial structure to create a monster from the bones up. Pierce imagined how a mad scientist might piece together a homemade man, impatiently. With giant metal staples and big hurried stitches, Pierce added nice touches like black lips to suggest the cyanotic tinge of a corpse. Karloff even removed his bridge work to hollow his cheeks. It took 4 hours to apply the 62 pounds of makeup and costume, and 2 hours just to remove it. All this during the record heat of a Los Angeles summer before air conditioning was invented. Oh, by the way, during breaks, Karloff walked around with a blue veil covering his head, supposedly to keep strangers from fainting on sight. More likely it was to control publicity. Now let's return to this special Sci-Fi Channel telecast of Frankenstein.
Classic feature film based on a real paranormal experience.
You see, I was in line.
The Entity. Saturday at 8, 5 Pacific.
This Halloween, we have invited some of our closest fiends to spend the day and night with you on the Sci-Fi Channel. You'll enjoy 14 fearsome hours of deliciously demented horror without giving up the creature comforts of your home. And don't forget, it's not over until the fat lady screams. The Sci-Fi Channel Halloween Marathon. Sunday, October 31st, beginning at noon.
Classic Monster Month on the Sci-Fi Channel will continue with Frankenstein in just a moment. Have you recognized the actress playing Dr. Frankenstein's fiancée? She's May Clark, who is remembered best for the scene in Public Enemy in which James Cagney squashes a grapefruit in her face. A different sort of brutality upset the critics during the premiere of Frankenstein. a scene in which the creature innocently tries to imitate a young child who tosses flower petals into a lake. Instead, the creature throws in the little girl. This scene was removed in 1931, and only very recently has it been restored. Even without that scene, women fainted and ran hysterically into the streets at the movie's first showings. Recognizing a good thing, theater owners parked ambulances under their marquees to emphasize the film's terrifying power. I'm afraid that you are responsible for your own medical care as we return to Frankenstein. We now return to Frankenstein here on the Sci-Fi Channel.
They haunt the darkness of our minds. Classic Monsters Month, all this month.
Do you want...
You're watching the classic Frankenstein here on the Sci-Fi Channel, but it's not the first Frankenstein film. Thomas Edison produced and directed a version in 1910 for his Edison Studios. In the 1920s, German filmmakers made Der Golem, based on a 16th century Yiddish folk tale. Der Golem was a statue that came to life to save the Jews of Prague during a pogrom. Karloff said he based his monster's stiff-backed walk on the way Der Golem moved. Now it's back to Karloff in Frankenstein.